Shanti. At the confluence age, Baba makes us kings. He says, if you become a king at the confluence age, you will surely become a king in the future also. But what type of kings we have to become now? First of all, Baba says, you have to become the king of your senses. That is, ruler of your senses. Then you have to become the ruler of your mind. And then you have to become the ruler of everyone's heart. Only then you can become the ruler of the world. And for that, Baba says, how do you become the ruler of your senses and the mind and the hearts of others? For that, we should be able to become, first of all, self-sovereigns. Self-sovereigns includes many things. The self means the mind, intellect, sanskars. And therefore, when I'm able to rule over the self, means I'm able to rule not only over the senses, but also over my mind, over my intellect, over my sanskars. Only then can I rule over the hearts of others and then the world. So when I'm a ruler of my senses, it means the mind should be able to control the senses. Wherever the mind should order, there the senses should go. At present in Kali-yugi world of Kali-yuga, we see how the senses have become the rulers. Wherever the senses pull the mind, there the mind goes. Simple example. It's you go to a particular place like a museum or something and it's written there, please don't touch. So simple. But still we like to touch, in spite of it being written there. There are the instructions which we have to follow. But very often the pull of the sense of touch is so strong that the mind is pulled there automatically, very easily. And the hands begin to move and you start touching it. Maybe feeling the texture, feeling the smoothness, Actually, it's nothing that you're going to buy it. And you don't have to touch it. It's not needed. And you're instructed not to touch, but still we touch it. Sometimes it happens, someone is a diabetic patient and he's told, don't eat sugar. But when he sees a gulab jamun, what happens? That sense of the tongue, taste, it pulls the mind. And the mind, when it's pulled, then the intellect is pulled by the mind. Then the intellect will say, oh, doesn't matter. If it's, there is no harm in eating little more sugar. Or maybe if your sugar increases, then take some more tablet, like that. So intellect is very intelligent and it gives a way out how you can be freed from it. But then that means that the intellect is pulled by the mind and the mind is pulled by the senses. And then of course sanskars are there. The sanskars of the past births are so dominant that they automatically overcome everything, and the result is one becomes a prey of the senses. So this is why Baba gives us a wonderful yukti. He says, you are not the body at all. How soul consciousness helps us to become the kings, the masters. When I'm not the senses at all, then that means as I'm different from the senses, definitely I can make my senses subservient to me, under me. But if I consider myself to be a body, that means I'm the senses, body means the senses. And then they become the masters. And therefore Baba says, you are not the body, but you are a soul. And that's what Baba says, you have to be aware of this all the time. Only then I can become the master of my senses. And then the master of the mind. Sometimes what we don't want to think, the mind thinks about that. What we want to think, we just cannot think. It's very strange. What I want to forget, I can't forget. And what I want to remember, I can't remember. But as we say, master of the mind means whatever I want to remember, I should be able to remember. And what I want to forget, I should be able to forget. This is Dadi Janki's speciality. Dadi Janki was once asked, Dadi, how do you remember so many things? You have so many things on your head. How do you remember? Dadi says, I don't remember everything. I don't have to. But then Dadi, whenever we tell you something, you remember it very well. How do you do it? And Dadi says, whatever I have to remember, I can remember. And what I have to forget, I can forget in an instance. And therefore I don't lose my time, I don't lose my mental energy. I don't lose, my aim. That's why I'm able to forget what I want to forget and remember what I want to remember. But here we forget our aim. We forget why we have come. We forget what are we here for. Why are we here in this world? Then comes, why are we with Baba? So because we forget all this, what we should not forget, the result is the mind becomes like a vagabond. And therefore Baba teaches us what Baba was saying in today's Murli. First of all, in the blessing, faith in the self, faith in Baba, and faith in the drama. Faith leads to victory. So when I say faith in the self, definitely it means the awareness of my true self. Because faith will lead to that. Just knowledge alone is not enough. I have knowledge of many things, but to strengthen that knowledge, I need to have the faith in it. And when I have the faith in it, definitely the awareness will be constant. And when the awareness is constant, I'll be the embodiment of it easily. So faith in the self and then faith in the drama, faith in Baba will definitely make us carefree kings. The greatest fear which any human being ever has, is the fear of death. That is the ultimate, ultimate fear. There could be so many types of fears. There's a long list of fear. Fear of darkness, fear of wild animals, fear of even, small cockroaches and insects and whatnot, fear of people too. We're afraid of some people. We are afraid of so many things. But the top fear, the highest in that list of fear, is the fear of death. Why are we afraid of people? He may kill me. Why are we afraid of wild animals? They may kill me. So I may be afraid of maybe darkness. But then why am I afraid of darkness? I may fall down. And what if I fall down? Why am I afraid of falling down? I'll break my bones. You can go on and on. Just like we ask a question. There are so many questions of this type. What do you wish to achieve? What do you wish to get in life? And somebody may say, I want to get money, wealth. And why do you want wealth? So that I can live comfortably. Why do you want to live comfortably? And then ultimately the answer will come: peace, happiness, all the subtle qualities of the soul. That is the ultimate answer. There's nothing beyond that: peace, happiness. Because that's what we're all striving for. Similarly, when you ask questions about fear, why are you afraid of this? Why of that? Why? Ultimately, the answer will be the fear of death. Because there's nothing beyond death. Death means finished. That's all. It's the end. Somebody is in his deathbed. The doctor tries very hard to help him, to make him survive. And then after all the efforts, ultimately he dies. Finished. All efforts over. That's the end. What more efforts can you do? Death. That's the end. So Baba says, the ultimate fear or the greatest fear is the fear of death. And once I have the knowledge of the soul, this fear is finished instantly. And if there is this fear, definitely it is ignorance of the self. I'm going to die. It's so common to say in our language, I'll die. Some people, especially in the world, whenever they experience any sorrow, I want to die. I want to die. This language has become so common because the true happiness isn't there. But as Baba's children, we can never say that. I want to die. Will anybody say that? Will this ever come out of our mouth? I want to die. But it's so common in the world today because the sorrow and suffering is increasing and increasing. And therefore they think that death is the solution to that. And we tell them the bitter truth. What is the bitter truth in this? That if you cannot experience happiness in life, if you cannot experience peace in life, you can never experience peace and happiness even after death. No? Is it not? This is a bitter truth. Why one cannot experience peace and happiness after death if he cannot experience it before death? Because the sanskar of peace or peacelessness or happiness are with the soul, are in the soul. And if they are in life, they will continue with the soul, wherever the soul goes. So I'll get peace after death. It means, well, the body will get peace naturally after death. It's cremated or buried, finished. All the 5 elements mix with the 5 elements of the body. The 5 elements of the body mix with the unlimited elements. But then the soul is the one which is to experience peace or happiness. And if it doesn't experience in this life, it will never experience after death too, or after leaving the body too. And therefore, there's a saying, happiness is not in the destination. Happiness is during the journey. It's a very interesting saying. Happiness is not to be found at the destination. So if I am having happiness during my journey, I'll find it even at my destination. Because I'm an embodiment of happiness. So the knowledge of the soul gives us this experience of being fearless, overcoming the fear of death. Very often, we see there are so many reasons why people are afraid of death, not just one reason. I give a list of reasons. One reason is, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Oh, I'll die. This word has become very common. I want to die is the second statement. But the first, I'll die if I do is, I'll die. So that I'll die because the awareness of the self is that I'm this body. And the body consciousness is so, strong. It's like wearing very tight clothes. When somebody wears very tight clothes, it's so difficult to remove them, tight pajamas, tight pants, tight sort of trousers, everything tight. It's so difficult to remove. Sometimes it's so tight that one has to rip it off, in order to take it off. So Baba also says that this body consciousness is so strong that the fear of death is, is easily there. And that's why the practice of soul consciousness. Just go beyond the consciousness of the body. I'm a soul, I'm a point of light, I'm a point of light, I'm eternal, I'm immortal, I'm imperishable. And this practice is so lovely, so interesting, so beautiful that really at the time of leaving the body, Baba sometimes gives an example of hair in butter. It's so easy for one to remove hair from butter, But if that hair is stuck in a chapati or maybe in bread or something which is hard and there's some hair in it, and you're trying to remove it won't come out fully, it won't come out in its full length. It'll break. It'll break because part of it will remain in that. And then again you have to remove it, again you have to take it off. But if it's in butter, then in instance it comes out. So it's like when the end will come, the soul will leave the body with ease because it is already in a soul conscious stage. And that's why the practice of soul consciousness is very, very essential. Then the other reason why people are afraid of death is because of attachments. The attachments are so strong that they don't want to give up. Even though they know that they have to die, it's not so easy to commit suicide. The attachments are so strong. But if somebody does commit suicide, it definitely means that it must have been such a drastic decision to finish off all the attachments and commit suicide. Otherwise, it's not so easy to give up attachments. Attachment to the belongings, attachment to people. The attachment to belongings may be very easy to give up. It's so easy. It's not difficult. Okay, it doesn't belong to me, it doesn't matter. But attachment to people is even more difficult. Why? Because there are karmic accounts with souls. And because of those karmic accounts, the attachment becomes so strong that even if you want to give up, it's sometimes so difficult to forget. It's so difficult to forget because of those karmic accounts. And this is why Baba has told us the easy method. First of all, nothing belongs to you. Very often Baba tells us that you can practice. If at this moment I leave the body, will I remember anything? Will I remember any objects? Am I attached to anything really? Will I remember anybody? I can test myself. Do I have any pulls? Do I have any attractions? Because Baba says that will be the final test. It'll come in my way. My weakness will become a very big obstruction at the end. Maya comes through that gate of weakness. It's just like they say, there's a saying that the strength of a chain, any chain, depends on its weakest link. The link. The chain has those different links. The weakest link, that is the strength of that chain. The strength of a wall is the strength of its weakest brick. And if that brick breaks, the wall falls. If that link of the chain, if that breaks, the chain no longer is a chain. And therefore our weakest point will deceive me. And therefore Baba says, you have to go beyond. And when I'm able to experience that I'm able to overcome my attachments, I'm able to overcome my pulls towards bodily beings or physical objects, then definitely at the time of leaving the body, I'm in a state of a carefree king. Then the other fear of death is, it is because of not just attachments, for all the different actions I have done in life. They come in front of me. Maybe I've given sorrow to people. Maybe I've harmed people. Maybe I have deceived people. All the negative things, they come in front of me. I have done so many bad things in life. And there are many people I have seen, they are literally weeping, weeping. Because they can't forget all the sinful actions they have done in life. And they have that fear that they will be punished for those actions. Maybe they don't understand about Dharamraj, but at least the awareness comes at the end that they could not, finish all that. They could not settle those karmic accounts. And maybe they have to carry that forward and reap for that in the future. The realization comes, but then it's too late. There's a very interesting saying in Hindi. The Hindi word sentences about Kabir. Kabir was a very great poet and a saint. He's telling himself, "Oh Kabir, when you were born, you wept and everybody laughed." It means was happy, because when a child is born, the child is weeping, but everybody else is laughing because they're so happy, to get a baby at home. A baby is born and everyone is so happy, but the child is crying, usually. It's most of the time it's crying, Very rarely we see a very happy baby, always smiling. Otherwise the child is crying and crying. And if after the child is born, if the child doesn't cry, doesn't make any sound, then the nurse, what she does, she beats the child so that the mouth opens and the child cries, because that's how the vocal cords become active. So if the child is not crying, maybe it's going to be dumb, So the nurse has to be very sure that the child has that vocal cords active. So therefore it beats the child. So the first sound the child makes is wah, wah, it cries. And in Hindi we say wah in Hindi, which means waha, there. Hindi means wahan is there, yahan is here. So wahan means there. It means the soul in the mother's womb, it was praying to God, God, please release me from this jail of the womb, because Baba says the womb is also like a jail. And please release me, please free me. And I promise you, God, because the hands are like, folded. It's like this. You have seen a fetus in a mother's womb, how the hands are folded like this, and the head is down, it's like that. So it's praying to God that God, please free me from this jail, from this prison of the womb. And when I am freed, I promise you I will not commit any sins. And once the child is born, it's like freed from the womb of a mother, like a prison there. And it says, Wa means whatever promise I made there, they remained there. And now when I'm out, I'll do what I want. Nobody can stop me. It's very interesting when we say it in Hindi. So Kabir is telling himself, oh Kabir, when you were born, you wept. And everybody was happy, laughed, there was joy in the family. But Kabir, make sure that in your lifetime, your actions should be so good so that when you leave your body, that same scene or same experience doesn't repeat at the time of your death. That means you cry and everybody laughs. That good riddance to bad rubbish, he's gone and we are free. Instead, you should smile and let others feel sad that we will never be able to find someone like him again. We have lost a jewel, we have lost a real diamond. But you should be smiling because you are going with great joy as you have done good actions in your life. And wherever you will go, you will be happy because you have been happy in this life too. That happiness will accompany you. So what the experience which you got at the time of your birth should not repeat at the time of your death. It should be the other way around. So that's what Baba says. At the time of death, how our past actions come in front of us. But if we have really done righteous actions in life, we have done good actions, actions which have given happiness to souls, we have taken blessings of all, then definitely the soul is so happy. It's going with all those blessings because nothing else accompanies except the blessings of the people. So the fear of death is because of these sinful actions committed in life. And that's why Baba is telling us, you must perform righteous actions. And the fifth reason, why? Because there's fear of death, because of loneliness. Loneliness, it's a very big obstacle at the time of death. Person feels so lonely, that's why he cries. He feels, I'm going to go alone. But here Baba tells us, you are not alone. Baba is with you. And that's why in bhakti they try to remind that dying person, remember God, remember God, remember God, because He is going to accompany you. He'll be with you, no one else. But the one who has never remembered God in his lifetime, can he ever remember that moment? Never. That's why Baba says, God is your companion. Not just companion, but combined with you. Have this faith. You're not alone. You're never alone. Usually loneliness is a great cause of fear. One feels very afraid when one is alone. But when somebody is there, okay, that fright is not so much comparatively. So similarly, Baba says at the end, if Baba's remembrance won't be there, then that loneliness will give great sorrow. And that's why the meditation we do, the soul consciousness, Baba's remembrance is there. And that enables us to become carefree kings. Again, faith in the drama makes us carefree kings like anything. Drama is such a wonderful point. I remember in latest Murli, Baba said a few days ago, if one understands the drama accurately, it will be so easy for him to be a carefree king. But usually we begin to have many questions about the drama. The biggest question somebody can have is, well, if everything is fixed, then why make efforts? It's so easy to question this way. Because all fixed, why make efforts? And Baba said it very sweetly, that if you think in this way, you will achieve nothing. But if you understand drama in its accurate way, you will achieve everything. Sometimes we compare this knowledge of the drama to a knife. It depends on how you use the knife. The sharp edge should be below, what you want to cut. That it should be above that object you want to cut. But if you don't know how to use the knife and you use it the other way around and the sharp edge is above, then what happens? It will cut your finger. So the knowledge of the drama should be understood so well. Only then will you take the maximum benefit from this point of the drama. Sometimes Baba says, the knowledge of drama should be understood as like an emergency gate, or like the fire gate. I know in Europe there is always in every house an emergency door, emergency staircase, fire staircase, which is not used commonly. I remember once I was in Sweden or Denmark, I don't know where, somewhere in this North Europe. And I had to go and the car was waiting outside. So I opened that door and the sister said, please sister, don't open this door, don't open this door. If you open this door, then the police will fine us. I said, why? It's a door, why shouldn't I open it? She said, no, this is the emergency door. You should not open. Actually, the door was so easy to open because, so close to the main gate, to the main street. And if I could open that, I could reach the main street. But then she said, no, don't open this door. Go to that door, the next door. Open from there and you can go out. And I asked why. I didn't know. But then she made me understand that this is actually the emergency door and you cannot open it. You open it only in an emergency case. But then that's the easiest door to open, the closest and the shortcut. But no, we don't have to use that door. That's what she said. So similarly, Baba says the knowledge of the drama is an emergency gate. It is to be used only after the incident has happened. Do not think of drama before the incident. Because if the fruit is destined, it is inevitable, then the action also is destined. No? We have to do the action in order to get the fruit, the efforts. If the fruit is destined, even the efforts are destined. How can we say the fruit, whatever is in the drama, it will come and therefore why should I make efforts? But fruit depends on the efforts. The result depends on the efforts. So both are destined, both are in the drama. But we don't know what the fruit is and therefore we make the best efforts. That's so simple. But if I have the knowledge of the drama, it's so easy to be carefree in a way that the fear is finished. Because everything is eternal in this drama. is a very big fear, no? But then in this drama, nothing is lost. Everything is eternal. What I'm seeing now, well, it won't be there in 5,000 years, but after 5,000 years, it will be in the same way again. So will I lose anything? The same body, I will get it back again, after 5,000 years, the same particles, the same molecules, everything will return. Sometimes I give a very interesting example. I was in the United States in 2000. I went there. So I went to Los Angeles, or was it Los Angeles, or I don't know where in Atlanta, somewhere, I don't know, but it was at the Universal Studios in Los Angeles, no? Where is, yeah. So I went there, and it was a big, huge studio. And they said, okay, you watch. We were on a very big platform, about 100 people of us, a huge platform. And a big studio, big hall, big thing. And so many gadgets and many things in that. Even buildings and bridges and walls and many things. And they said, just watch. It was very interesting. And, we started watching. What we had to watch, we didn't know what would happen. And all of a sudden, the platform on which we were standing began to shake. Who has seen it? You have seen it, no? It started shaking, and everybody got frightened. And that guide was telling us, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. So again, we became still, The platforms again stopped shaking. And afterwards, whatever we could see, everything, all of that started shaking. The wall started shaking, the building started shaking, the bridges started shaking, and somebody was on that bridge or maybe somewhere on top of a building, and he fell down with fire. He started burning, and there was a big blast, and everywhere there was chaos. Everything burned down, everything like destroyed. And we watched that. I think it took about 5 minutes. Everything got destroyed. And then they said, okay, now watch again. Don't be surprised. First they said, don't be afraid. So we stood still, okay, we are not afraid. And they said, okay, don't be surprised. Then all of a sudden again, our platform shook, and and we caught each other's hand. And then again, don't be surprised. And at that very moment, what we could see, the wall coming back, the building coming back, the bridge which had fallen apart, just coming back and joining each other, and everything as it was before the destruction took place, the same thing came back again, and nothing had been destroyed, nothing. Everything was intact as it was before. Even that burning human being who fell, burning, he was back. I don't know how. I really don't know how. Everybody was so surprised. And then the guy told us that this is how we shoot films, because it was a Universal Studio where they shoot films. They say, do you think that all the destruction which is shown in films is real destruction? It is not. It is just for filming. And everything comes back. Nothing is destroyed. But they only shoot and then that's it. So I was wondering, as Baba says, this is a drama. Whatever is here will not be there in the 5,000 years. But after 5,000 years, it will come back. Nothing is destroyed. Nothing. Just imagine. As we say, matter cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. So it's very true. Everything comes back. It changes its form from one to the other, but total sum remains the same. But even though it changes its form from one to the other, every 5,000 years it comes back to the same form. I remember once, I read in the newspaper, there was a conference on weather, the changing of weather in the world. So there were a few scientists who were of the opinion that the world is becoming warmer and warmer. because of the greenhouse effect and all that. No, it's becoming warmer. The ozone layer is uh, is being destroyed, and so many other things, and therefore it's becoming warmer and warmer. But then another group of scientists were of the opinion that no, it is getting colder and colder. How? Because they had their argument that every year the amount of snowfall is increasing. Compared to last year, this year the snowfall is more than that of last year. So because the snow is more, that means it is becoming colder and colder. The greenhouse effect may make it seem getting warmer, but actually it is getting colder because there's more snowfall. But then there was a third group of scientists who said that the world is neither getting warmer nor is it getting colder. It is just the weather is repeating exactly as it was 5,000 years ago. I was surprised. I read it in a small, it was a small information in a newspaper. I forgot to take a cutting, of it, which I could show. But then I tried to find it again and again, but couldn't find later on the newspaper. But it was there. That means every 5,000 years, even the weather is the same. The climate is the same. So the world is neither becoming warmer nor colder because it will come back again to 5,000 years. And this is why the knowledge of the drama can really make us carefree kings, but not before the incident. But even if it is before the incident, the thought should be there that definitely it's going to be good, whatever I'll be doing with Baba's help and in Baba's remembrance. And therefore, with the determination, with the faith and Baba's help, whatever will happen will be good. And then, after it's completed, no regrets. So what happened was good, what's happening is even better, and what will happen will be the best. This is actually the essence of the Gita too. And once I understand the drama in this way, I can become a carefree king. So faith, understanding that everything is fixed, and thirdly, staying carefree with the knowledge of soul, supreme soul, and the drama. So let us sit with that consciousness that I am that carefree king who is the conqueror of his senses, of his mind, of the hearts of people, and thereby will definitely become the conqueror of the world, a true world sovereign, but at present self-sovereigns. Om Shanti.